Antonio, thank you for taking the time out of your day to do this interview with us. I want to start by introduction of yourself, what you do and how you got into energy training. What was your first inspiration, or who was your first inspiration to get into energy training such as telekinesis, areokinesis, psychokinesis? How long have you been training, and what is your favorite and strongest out of the energy work you do? How much training do you do per week, and how do you train? What are your training methods? Are you able to show us some and demonstrate? Internal process. What is your method? What is your thinking at the stage when you're doing a telekinesis or Kai work? What goes through your mind when the object or thing begins to move, or bend to your will? Do you feel any sensation that flows through you, or at the point of movement do you sense anything different? Connection or others? What would you best advise for someone that's wanting to start, where to look and how to train? Is there anyone that you look up to in this field that you follow and train with? What other spiritual practice do you do?
Hey there everybody, how are you? It's an honor to be here with you in this very nice channel. I am honored to be here to share with you of my experience. My name is Antonio. I am an energy practitioner from Mexico. And well, I'm a school teacher, as you may see. I'm a school teacher. I'm an elementary and high school teacher, and I'm also a martial artist, a musician, and yeah. So let's dive into it. I've been practicing with energy for several years now, but when it comes to energy bending, that I guess that's why I got the recognition from this channel. I started the energy bending practices maybe 3 years ago now, taking them more seriously and more in depth for 3 years now. But it does seem like a lot more time, to be honest. I discovered energy bending a lot more, long ago. But it wasn't until I figured out how to perform telekinesis that I got more into it. Before that, I was just doing deep chakra work. I was playing with my energy, with my body energy, with my electromagnetic field, my intuition, I realized that our chakra system held so many mysteries and keys that if I myself dived into it, it was like my own school, you know? If you start practicing healing yourself, especially with chakras, and you start having fun with it, you won't need anything else, to be honest. But gladly, and it's wonderful that there are so many other people that have shared with us, that have a big legacy, that there are so many books that give us so much knowledge about this, and that we also have social media like this, right, where we can show ourselves and show what we are capable of, right? Everything we can do is accessible to anyone. Everything that I have shown in my own channel, which by the way is called Elemento Shaman. Elemento, like element, with an O. Elemento Shaman, right? It's called like that because I take a shamanic approach on my energy working. And that means I embrace and I fully recognize the intelligence of the cosmos as it shows itself to us, and that I embrace my mission as a cosmic being, as a human, as a superhuman, which we all are, which we all can become. And once you start giving the recognition to the being of the universe and nature itself, nature then will also give you the same recognition to you, and will start opening up itself to you. You will start having different kinds of experiences every day, and you will be learning lots of stuff that are for you, special for you. Okay, so getting into the questions that you sent me, what is my favorite practice? Yeah, well, if I had to pick a kinesis, my favorite kinesis have always been areokinesis, hydrokinesis, and maybe some telekinesis too. But to be honest, I do enjoy a lot more the elemental kinesis. I have delved into the levitation practice. I have delved into the more, let's say, telekinetic, because it's different. It's a little bit different. You can tell, you could say everything is psychokinesis, everything, right? The whole spectrum. But it does work a little different, especially because working with nature is a lot easier for me. I started practicing inside, so that means inside a room, for example, and that made me learn to perform energy work with stagnant energy. Stagnant energy is found anywhere, and it's very different from an outside environment, right? Full with nature and full with the wind, the birds, the animals, and so many other intelligences. That's why I fell in love with the outside energy work, because nature is so vast and so deep. You will soon realize that there are many kind of spirits that are very willing to interact with your energy too. And I find that very exciting and I find it amazing and wonderful. What are my training methods? How do I train? That varies a lot. That has varied a lot across time. But I think there are many drills that I could share with you and that you could also find yourself. But if I had to tell you the most foundational exercise, I think many masters will agree with this, is the energy sensitivity. Okay, that's something you must develop, and you must cultivate. You must work on that first, because if you want to manipulate reality at the energetic level, how do you want to do that if you can't even feel it, right? And of course, you also can't see it right away. So if you want to do that, you should first start by feeling it. Even if it doesn't sound very exciting for most people, that you will realize that it's a lovely experience to do it. So it's just a matter of taking maybe 2 fingers really and start feeling the energy between them. Okay, how do you do that? How do you feel energy? That's a question I get a lot, and maybe it's fair, but it's also like a dog trying to bite its own tail. You just do it. You don't need to know how to do it. You just do it. You just feel it. Put your hands together as if you were holding some kind of invisible ball, and picture the ball between your hands and try to feel the air. Try to put your mind between your hands. You may even close your eyes and just pay attention to the feeling, right? Relax, breathe. If you want to grow in these aspects, you will have to learn how to breathe, how to lower your brain state with your breathing. And that means you are learning to relax your mind, to go into deep trance. But it doesn't need to be very deep at first. It's only a matter of relaxing the body and eventually relaxing the mind. So that means you should learn to focus on the void, right? On anything actually. It doesn't need to be void. It can be a plant, it can be a mirror, it can be hello, hola, hola. It may as well be, you may choose even an object, you may even choose a body part. It works with anything. It's very simple. Just choose something to focus on and try to relax your sight, your eyesight. If you are working with an object, it's a very good idea to try to see it in its completeness. So for example, if I'm gonna look at my hand, I want to look at my hand completely, not only one finger or one spot or the other, but the whole hand at the same time. That will take my eyesight to relax, the muscles of my eyes to relax and to refocus. And that will make my mind get in another state. If you do it, you will understand. Okay? This is not a matter of thinking of being smart and saying, oh yes, I understand. No. It's something that you have to do to really experience it. All these aspects of spirituality and energy work are not intellectual things. These are not things that you have to understand or to know. These are things that you have to practice and to do. If you only read and if you only listen to others, if you were only looking for more information all the time, which is very good, to educate yourself is very important. Very important. For me, it's delicious and it's also basic. But if you stay at that point, you won't get very far, I must tell you. There are many people who think they know because they have read a lot, but they can't even spin a side wheel. So you should be practicing more than what you are looking for. Okay, so I'm back. So what is my advice for someone who is just beginning in their path? Well, my best advice for someone who is looking where to train, I would tell them to just do it anywhere they are, really. Thing is, it seems it's so complicated, right? But truth is, it's very simple. You don't need any kind of space to start practicing. You can do it in one dark room or not a dark room at all. You can do it out in nature or just walking on the street. You can practice meditation anywhere. And that is something that you would want to do if you would like to become the master of yourself, right? To understand that you have to become your own master at all times. Even if you are following someone else, even if someone is giving you the steps in a method or a system, you have to become your own master, even at that moment, okay? All the time. It doesn't mean that you have to be arrogant or anything like that. I hope I'm being clear about this. Just believe in yourself, open your mind towards sensation, realize that we don't really know that much about reality in the normal paradigm, right? Nobody really does. So everybody has their own esoteric experience, their own spiritual journey, and that's gonna make your journey the most important journey of your life, yours, right? So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. You may have masters pointing out an example or maybe some techniques for you. But what is most important is that you realize that you have to embrace the moment from within, okay? Another very important advice I would like to give is you should not be wanting this from the neediness, okay? You should be wanting this because you want to become a better human being. And that is very tricky because if you are not in that state of mind, if you are not with that mindset, any people can say, yes, I want to be a better version of myself, but do you really? Because if you are seeking this path just because of the abilities and the superhuman feats, because you think they look cool and you think that will make you special, well then you are falling into a trap. Okay, that's the biggest trap. In simple words, that's the biggest trap you can fall into. I believe that if you are coming from a neediness point or from an anxiety, I need these abilities because they are so cool and I just want them because I want to be Superman. Just stop then. Just stop, take time And when you are ready to face your fears, to heal your sexuality, to open your eyes, to be able to express yourself, to be able to be who you are meant to be in this world, in this societal world too, right? For me, it's very important. Society is very important. A lot of spiritual people may suggest that the world is just trash right now, but you have to turn it over. If you can't do that, nature will simply, it won't show itself to you. And that's what you want if you want to cultivate your abilities. You have to keep an open heart and an open intuition. Okay? Okay, let's keep going then. Well, I'm just going to add something here. There are tons, seriously, tons of books and information out there. There are also a lot of systems available in many languages. I know of systems that teach superhuman abilities, right? Like that. In Spanish, in Russian, in French, in English, in Turkish, in so many other languages, Portuguese. So there's really no excuse to just look for it and believe in yourself. If you start doubting everything before you even try, what's the point of even trying? That's like, as I say, it's like a dog trying to bite its own tail. Okay? You don't have to think so much. You have to be patient. You have to work for it. You have to work every day for it. If you are wanting to become a superhuman, do you expect to be a superhuman in one day? Does that make any sense? Right? Okay, so dive into any kind of lectures, right? Look up the chakra system and work on every chakra. Not only from the energetic dynamic standpoint, but from a healing perspective. Okay, understand what each chakra is gatekeeping for you in life. And you will start experimenting it and then learn to feel your chakras with your hands. It's very easy. It's very possible. You just have to do it. You have to be patient. You have to learn how to lower your brain state so that your sensibility is activated. You have to learn how to go into alpha state. Okay? Look this up. I can't teach everything in a video, right? It will be silly of me to think so. And also, I wouldn't like to do that because then people wouldn't be able to grasp something out of what I'm saying. So I'm just going to leave it at that, okay? There are plenty of activities of abilities for you to unlock. Plenty. I mean, from manifestation, clairvoyancy, to telekinesis, to Akashic readings, to pyrokinesis, to levitation, to areokinesis, to elemental communication, to artificial elementals creation. It's very fun. Astral projection, right? It's very fun. Time bending, all right? But all those imply that either you are already capable of doing this because of maybe your karma, your genetics, or you are just ready to do it. Your body is ready to do it and is already experiencing some of these feats that we all possess. These are not gifts, by the way, or these are not special gifts for special people. No, these are developments of each person. These are called attainments for a reason. Siddhis in Sanskrit. All right? These are attainments. We work for them. We work towards them. So keep that mindset on, and whatever system you are practicing, whatever technique you are going at, give it at least, I would say, at least, if you are seriously practicing every day, give it at least 2 months, and I'm sure you will get results. Any technique. But you have to learn how to first crawl, then walk, then run, then maybe jump, and then start to aspire to fly. All right? Not only because you read a book or 10 books, you are gonna be a telekinetic master or an electrokinetic master, right? Or not because you have gone through a lecture by a great master, you're gonna become a great medium, right? Or a great healer just because you heard someone. No, you have to develop. You have to cultivate your energy, your energetic bodies, your sensations, and your awareness. You have to make your mind able to do this. What do you, I mean, for example, I know for a fact that we can teleport, right? I know it. And I kind of have a notion of how it would work, but why can't I do it yet, right? If I am, it's possible for me to do it, but right now I can't do it, even though I kind of know how to do it. Why? Well, because I'm not at that level yet. I know if I want to do it, I'll have to keep working, or it will just be a matter of luck if I did it, right? And maybe that would be cool, but that's not what I seek. That's not something you are seeking, okay? So keep that in mind too, right? We have to work towards our goals, and we have to be realistic in our goals. Maybe not have so much expectations, okay? If you are trying something, you have to be very clear in your intent on what you are trying to do, but then be open and let the experience unfold in front of you. Okay, let the phenomenon surprise you and happen to you, because it will probably be a unique experience for you. It doesn't need to be something that, like, don't take anything for granted. If you are trying to move a side wheel and you notice a very tiny movement, take that, and then repeat it, and then challenge your own experience. Maybe take a step back, maybe don't use your hands, maybe just start focusing only with your gaze. Maybe try to do it from a video conference, right? You can put a laptop pointing to a side wheel and then go to another room with your phone and try to influence the object. You will be surprised how easy it is. But if you don't have success yet, don't worry. Then take a step back. Do it a little bit simpler. Try something easier. If you are beginning with telekinesis and you want to move, for example, a lighter, this may seem like a small object, but it's really not. This is not a light object to start with. All right? What is lighter than a lighter? Okay, for example, tinfoil, or for example, a seed, or a feather maybe, right? So you have to make it easy for you to accomplish your goals, and then you start taking steps and steps forward, okay? And if you feel stuck, then go back. If you are not able to move, not even a side wheel, well, then keep building on your energy sensitivity, okay? That's the most important thing to do. Practice some Tai Chi, practice Qigong, or yoga, or all of them. Try maybe some dance. Dancing is very good for your body, but be aware of your body all the time. Try to close your eyes when you are doing any of these practices too, okay? Not only with your eyes open, not only with your eyes closed, but both ways, all right? That will be massive for you, I'm sure. Okay, so right on the next question. Let's go. All right, so what other spirit abilities or practices do I do? Well, besides, I'm gonna name just the few kinetic approaches I can handle right now, and then I will mention other interesting features, right? I love air bending, water bending, and the combination of those. I like telekinesis. I like, let's say, pyrokinesis, but I'm still working on my ignition, right? It's a lot harder than just moving the flame. It's not the same at all, right? And I'm talking about moving flames and influencing fire elementals for me, okay? It's a different process than igniting the object. It's a very different process. I work on both, but I haven't succeeded yet on lighting a flame, a full flame, okay? I've been able to do some thermokinesis, some heavy thermokinesis, to the point of which I have noticed it starts burning the paper, but I haven't got a flame yet, a full flame. I have performed electrokinesis I have performed technopathy. That's a beautiful practice when you are open for it. Technopathy is when you interact with your artificial elementals around your devices, and this is very interesting. I won't dive too much into it because it would take a long, but just know that everything is alive, okay? And of course, something that possesses the necessary structures to produce messages, to produce tones, to produce images, to produce any kind of reaction for us. And if they have language, like a book, for example, a book, that can become an oracle, that can become a guardian, that can become a lot of things. And that is through your own energy or through channeling, okay? It's very fun. It's really very fun. It's amazing. You just have to be very open and aware, and you have to start practicing this kind of stuff. I can also perform Akashic readings. I was taught by a great master how to go into the Akashic records, how to contact my spiritual guides, and also help others contact their spiritual guides. This is also a very deep topic. The Akashic readings are a very deep subject. I'm just gonna say that it's like a great source of information, and it's like a field where you can travel with your consciousness, where you will find anything that you want to know regarding your soul path, what you have been going through, life after life after life, incarnation after incarnation, and that was my TV turning off. And that also is gonna, it's about, for example, the other person's karmic relationship with you, or you may even perform a reading for a couple, for example, or for some friends, or for a country, or for a city, or for a house, or for objects of yours. Everything is intelligent. Everything, all matter is intelligent. That's very interesting. You will realize if you start doing it. But look into it, okay? That's good for you because you can then clear your karma, and you can also help others clear their karma, and that's very good for the universe, for this planet, and for you, for your development, for the great consciousness, right? You are helping it evolve if you start learning all these healing stuff. I also was taught to activate my Merkaba field from the heart, and I've expanded on my heart chakra a lot, a lot. And I say that because it's kind of a theory of mine, not necessarily a theory, but every chakra has several levels of activation, okay? And when you start harmonizing your field, so each chakra in conjunction with the next one, that allows you to go deeper with each other chakra again. You may return to another chakra and then keep on going and developing and understanding more about the chakra. This is very exciting for me, okay? That's something I can point out for you, is this never ends. You can all the time be growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. And that it doesn't mean that you never want to stop. No, it's just a natural state. Okay? As you keep on living in this dimension and your awareness keeps expanding and you connect your mind with the heart, time and space will kind of transform for you, for your experience. You will start living differently life, okay? You will start transiting life in a very different way, not only because of your habits and your costumes, but how you experience reality is very different, okay? And that's not gonna stop changing as you keep on going and breathing and taking in more love and realizing the power of God within you. That's huge. That's huge. So yeah, let's go to the next question, if that's okay. All right, about this, was there any event that happened that shocked you
Was there any event that happened that shocked you into spiritually awaken from this dream? Usually people who awaken go through some event that reverberates to awaken them. Is there any other abilities that you have that you can share with us? Anything happened with these abilities when you were younger, at adolescent flared up or explainable events that could be due to these abilities? What does your diet consist of? Does others in your family have been observed to have the psychic gifts? Have you also detected or sense other begins when you're heighten your psychic sense? Do you feel there are elements trying to suppress these abilities such as fluoriding our water? Where do you see the human race progressing with these psychic abilities? What will happen when these two species, ones who don't have these abilities and ones that have highly developed abilities, what will happen?
To spiritually awaken from this dream? Okay, yeah, actually yes. Why I became more spiritual? I've always been sensitive, but not spiritual per se. I was always a martial artist since I was 3, so I guess that helped, but not necessarily, right? So at the age of 18, 17, I started having lucid experiences, lucid dreaming experiences, heavy, very heavy. I wouldn't know when I was awake if I was dreaming or not, to the point of which I would be standing in the subway and thinking of jumping to the train lines. I was going crazy because I thought I was dreaming. So I set a rule for myself that I would never try to kill myself, not even in a dream, not even if I knew I was dreaming, not even if I was certain I was dreaming, I would never try to kill myself. At that time, right now I'm a little bit maybe crazier, so I don't know what I would do right now, but at the time that's what I went with. And so I went to the doctor, to the, the clinical doctor, to tell them I was having these weird experiences. I didn't know anything about this at the time, nothing, right? I had become a little bit of a skeptic myself because of my cynical teenager. So the doctor just was looking at me like this and said, "Oh yeah, that's certainly anxiety. So yeah, just take these pills and you're good to go." So I decided to give it a shot. I was taking the pills, but the pills would only make me fall asleep. That was the only thing that they did for me, making me go asleep and asleep and asleep, and a very lethargic sleep. So that wasn't solving the problem. I would still have the lucid experiences one after the other. So I just stopped taking them. And there was this weird dream where I fell into a dream and then fell into another dream and then into another dream. So that's 3 sleeping, falling asleep and falling asleep. And then, the real falling asleep was 1. Then inside that dream, I woke up. Then I was taken to a hospital in the dream, to a kind of a hospital. And then I got shot, I got injections, and I fell asleep again. And then I got like a mask put on. And I was falling asleep again, and I was aware, I was my body was falling asleep, but I wasn't. And I was very aware, and I was thinking that, I was feeling that the people around me knew of my situation, and that they were taking notes of my vital signs or something like that. It was very, very weird. I can't say what that was. Some people would call it an abduction, because it really would sound like that I got studied and that I got open and that kind of stuff. It was really weird. And then I would wake up again inside a dream again. I could make phone calls, and I would call my mother, for example, and I would tell her, "I think I'm dreaming." And she would ask me, "Why do you think that?" And I would tell her, "Well, because I'm seeing my dead animals playing around. they are supposed to be dead, and they're back here. And I had just buried one of my ferrets 3 days ago, and she was there. So it was very weird, because I felt as if I was awake. So imagine that. You think you're awake, but you're watching. You are sharing the space with a dead pet that you buried So it was very weird. And then my mother would tell me, well, maybe you are dreaming. Don't worry. Don't worry. Just let it happen. And so I would hang up, and then I would start meditating on the ground, and I would like fall asleep again, and then raise, and it would be this time the alarm of my cell phone what was waking me up, this time to the actual reality I guess I'm living right now. All right. And then after that, something I have to mention, and I have mentioned before in other interviews and channels, if you want to go to the Ken Jolly's channel, Superhuman Interviews, or to the Sifu Amin Jani channel, I have talked about this too, about my experience with ayahuasca, in ayahuasca ceremonies and DMT and Shanga and all that kind of stuff. I have performed maybe 100 ceremonies, maybe 80 to 100, I'm not really sure, but I mean, who's counting at this point? And those are very deep, very energetic experiences, group experiences, and I am called there to perform healing, to perform contention, and to help guide others, right? And I've used also these spaces to understand better what is happening in my life at the time. It's not something easy. It's always big work to do, but I would tell you that if you feel the calling, don't be afraid. And it's always a life-changing experience. You learn how to die, okay? It sounds weird, right? But it's very important to learn how to die. All right, next question. Okay, so yeah, I want to add on this. When you start working with energy and you start realizing other intelligence around, you have to be aware that there are many other entities around you all the time. But at night, things might get a little heavier and darker. Okay, so that stuff is real. It's very real, and it's already affecting us all the time. It doesn't matter if you believe in it. It doesn't matter if you are aware of it. But when you start sensibilizing yourself, you will be more aware of it, and it will be harder to play fool with it, right? So you will notice stuff happening to you, and you will notice the bad energy that is around us all the time. And some entities are feeding on us, and they like to show us very disturbing images or thoughts because they feed from our emotions, of our lower state of minds. They feed of that energy. That's how they are created in the first place. So I have learned to combat these. I have learned to dissolve these things. It's very easy to dissolve them, but it's also sometimes it's hard because it can be terrifying, but you have to be brave. And if you are on this path and you are taken by the hand by God, right? You are just the most powerful being on this planet. So you have to build up on that. That's my advice. That's just my opinion. All of this is just my opinion, all right? I don't know shit. I'm sorry. But that's my take on it. Okay? So yeah, I've seen those, and let me show you a technique that it has been life-changing for me. This is called a harmonic. Look. Okay? That is very powerful because I have trained that. I can make it even heavier, like this. Okay, I can build up on that, and that is very powerful with my own energy field or with anything that I want to affect. Okay, so look around all the techniques that you can for protection, for cleansing, for healing, or anything, and try it and see if it works for you. Okay? I mean, who would want to suppress these abilities? Who would want to suppress them, right? Who? The president? Your president? My government? Who, right? And who would be able to tell other governments what to do? let me tell you something. I studied, my career was a political oriented career. It's called political communication. Political science of communication. Kind of, it would translate kind of like that. Comunicación política in Spanish. So that means in my, and I, by the way, one of my, I come from a family. My, let's put it like this. My grand uncle was president of my country. Okay? Just to say it like that. And I know I'm not a reptilian. Or I may have some of that in my DNA. I have seen some very weird stuff in all my spectrum. Okay? But what is it really to be reptilian? Who really knows the depth of that concept and what it implies? No one. No. Who is sure of it? Let me just do a parenthesis here. If you find a person who is talking about stuff as if they knew everything, what does that tell you about that person? Do you think it's really possible to understand everything about anything? Is it really possible? I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think we have to be and stay humble towards what we are perceiving and realizing, because I've had this mindset and then this other mindset and then this other mindset and then again this one. So we must not close ourselves and we have to be open all the time. Okay? So if somebody is trying to explain this kind of stuff to you and is all conspiranoid about it, it's like, okay, maybe. Okay, just maybe, because we don't know everything. No one does. No one. Who would? Why would you still be here if you knew everything? Okay? So I've known a lot of people involved into politics and the government and that kind of stuff. And of course, I don't know, for example, the Rothschild, right? I don't know them personally at all. And I may be very far from it, or no. Who knows what's going to happen in the future? But I can assure you that sometimes some of these policies of fluoriding water or some of these things that seem like a conspiracy to keep us down are really just a way, a very unsensitized, like a desensitized way of perceiving reality, and just are organizing our human life in a very material point of view. And that's why they take certain decisions that just fit in this paradigm of modernity, who focus on only to sustain what we already possess, right? What we already have accomplished, sustain that and just keep it going. All the money working because our country needs the economy flow, and that's more part of the problem. That's I see that as the bigger issue, because I think everyone, each person is responsible for their awakening. So for me, there's no point in worrying about other beings trying to suppress my cosmic intelligence. Not even with a vaccine, not even with the fluoride in water, not even with the lies on television and the fear-spreading news. And I don't give a damn about that, because I know who I am. You understand? I don't worry about it. I do worry about the mass, but the mass is gonna be the mass. I think it's up to you. And if you are blaming some other entity because blah blah blah, then that's the issue. You have to take responsibility of your own development, because you can. You always can. It doesn't matter if you are in prison. It doesn't matter if you are living in jail or in a cell. It doesn't matter. All right. So, that's my standpoint. That's how I view things in that matter. I do think there are interests, for example, in these, let's say, elite, and they make the policies like go down, and then they condition some stuff. but I don't think they have all the power. So they may try to influence this, but look at us. I mean, here we are talking about this in this amazing channel, about this such powerful realizations. How has that impacted our experience? It hasn't that much, really, right? So don't worry about that. That's what I would say. Yes, reflect upon it from time to time, and maybe think, okay, maybe, but I don't know who's really there to tell me, right? And who is there to blame? Your father, you, your grandpa, your mother, your mayor, your governor, the president. Who's president? Right? America's president? I don't think so, right? So that's my standpoint. And last point here, last question. And by the way, this has been really fun for me. Thank you so much for having me. I love talking about all these. I would love to go even deeper into every subject, but I want to keep it short. I could be speaking for an hour on each of these beautiful questions, but let's keep going. Okay, so where do you see human race progressing with these psychic abilities? What will happen with these two species, ones who don't have these abilities and ones that have highly developed abilities? What will happen? Okay, that's a very interesting question, because I think the esoteric experience has to be very personal. I tend to think that there are too many humans, and we are being either intentionally or unintentionally conditioned to not connect in an organic way with each other, because there are so many of us and we like to keep things practical. So for example, if we have a new technology, we are gonna rely on that to socialize, and that's gonna atrophiate a lot of our experiences. Okay, so if we depend too much on a cell phone or on the internet or the metaverse, for example, or any kind of digital or virtual experience, we are not developing in other ways. And as there are so many of us right now, it will be very, very difficult for us to unite as one. That would be very complicated. Have you tried to unite one family? Have you tried to unite a couple? One. Imagine if a couple finds it hard, if a family finds it hard, if a neighborhood finds it difficult, you get the point, right? If a country, if a nation, if a continent, I mean, that's very difficult, especially from a spiritual standpoint. So everyone is responsible for their own development, and the esoteric experience, and that is when you realize this plane, this material plane, the national, the everything, is not what really matters, but it's you logging in to the higher planes. And that's where you will find the understanding with other souls in a deeper level. At this point of which it doesn't really matter. You are not focusing on the materials aspects. That will come, like the answers about that will come down to you when you are vibrating at some level. And I think it's very necessary that the esoteric experience has to be cultivated. Each person has to do that, and we may become very powerful beings, but individually at first. And there's a long way to go before we can speak of a society where it will be very clear who has evolved and who hasn't. Because there are many people who are maybe haven't spiritually awakened yet, but they do have a big energy and they do have a big influence on karma. And you can see that even on maybe even YouTubers have this amazing influence on the world and this great energy around them, this great aura, but they are not spiritually awakened. Not everyone. But then you also realize that maybe some even corporations, some companies, some so big corporations are working with energy, and they don't say it. And of course they won't say it, because if you start telling everyone about energy, what happens, right? So it has to be personal, and you have to be growing yourself, focusing only on you, and keep on doing you. And so that maybe another person will realize it and will say, hey, I know what you're doing. And then that's how we are going to start growing and growing and growing. And maybe there's going to be a point where some different like kind of niches or spheres of understanding of people sharing the same paradigms, maybe some brotherhoods, or maybe some, I don't know, but this is through social movements too, right? So it's just a matter of more people being aware of it. For example, right now, the recent earthquake that happened in the same day for so many years now, here in my country, at least in Mexico, there's been a record of so many earthquakes happening in the same day, that people are starting to realize that our intentions are attracting it, because people fear it. And we all do this simulacrum, this national simulacrum. And so many people are so scared about it happening that it's causing a big emotion to nurture to detonate, the event. So universities are telling people that maybe we have to study more and to open ourselves more and open our methods. And I think it's a long way to get there, but it might as well start happening. It's already happening. If you start recognizing someone, their way they are focusing their intention, and how they work towards goals, and how they heal themselves, either spiritually aware of it or just naturally doing it, that's what's going to happen. It doesn't really matter. It's just going to be obvious that some people flourish and some people have an amazing power. Some will recognize it, others won't. That's my view on it. All right, guys, it's been a big pleasure. Thank you for your patience with my answers. Much love. And if you ever want me back, I will be happy to do it. If you ever want to chat again, or maybe have an online conversation, that will be great for me. Have a great day or night, and God bless you. Namaste. Believe in yourself. It's up to you. Bye-bye. Hey, before I leave, before I forget to mention this, I don't want to miss a chance to tell about some of the great masters who are also teachers, whom I have learned from a lot, who have helped me reflect upon things, or who have reaffirmed my views, or thanks to whom I have learned important techniques, okay, or important realizations in all these process. All right, so I'm not gonna tell you about what I learned from all of them, because that would take several videos probably. I could make one video or several videos for every one of these great people. So I'm just gonna mention them, okay? And as I've said, there's a lot of great people in the communities, and actually these people are in the communities, but these guys are people who have structured systems and who have developed content to help you, right? Progress. Some of them ask for a payment in return for some of their content, but I think that's pretty fair. I mean, it's an organized system, and it's even a coaching, several coaching programs. So don't hesitate ever to invest in your development, guys. Okay, never, please, never do that. That's very sad when you do it. Just if you feel like it, go support them and go learn from them. Okay, I'm just gonna mention them in the order I came across them, as I remember correctly. So here it goes. First there was Trevor Seven, then there was Michael Monk, then there was Ernst Witter, then there was Sifu Aminjani, then there was Mind Power Kinesis, and then I found about a great master called Panagiotis Enteris. Then I met across the web the real master Dariush himself. I've also learned and And yes, of course, the Grandmaster Wolf. And let me see, am I missing? Of course, I'm missing my great friend from Mexico. He likes to be called Vampiro Telekinesis, like vampire, but with an O. Vampiro Telekinesis, right? He speaks in Spanish, but he also does great demonstrations on his channel, so go check them all out. And if you can, support them. You won't regret it, because you will get to interact with these people, and their energy and their influence will be good for you. I can assure that. Okay, so thank you for everything. I love you, and I love what you do. And anyways, that's it.